So I know it's been a bit since I've posted, but I come bringing really exciting news. As many of you guys know, my Supra is largely unmodified, but ever since RSR reached out, I figured that this was a really good sign and a time for me to make some changes. Also, don't forget to get your own Spam Subi merch from spamsubi.com. He just does the dishes and my laundry in exchange for promo, so please help this man out. Previously, I was on Swift Springs, and they did the job for lowering the car and getting rid of that nasty stock wheel gap. But it was a temporary mod for me, and it didn't really serve any other purpose other than cosmetic. So naturally, when RSR reached out to send both Steven and I coilovers, I jumped on the opportunity. Steven's were the best eye actives, and you can check out his video on those in the description below, while I got the club racers, and I'll explain a little bit more about the difference as we go on. Also, a box of warning cancelers, because, you know, just BMW thing. Note that the warning cancelers don't come with the coilovers, but the Supra will flash a code that will not allow you to fully turn off the traction control if you do not have the cancelers. And this is me being a little bit too excited for car parts as usual. Nice. Oh, this is what I ordered them for. Just these guys. All right, you guys take the rest of the box.
Oh, sick. Here, let me just...
I'm so grateful to have this opportunity, not only to try these coilovers from RSR, but to also speak candidly and honestly about them. I feel like the most important thing is being transparent and honest with reviews, and I want to share my full and genuine experience in my videos. So I'm happy to tell you everything about these coilovers as I have experienced them. I was really excited to get these because since I've gotten the Supra, it's been really obvious to me how soft the stock suspension is, and I'm really excited to see what coilovers could do for my driving experience. Coming from the factory, a manufacturer's not exactly looking to optimize a car for track use. Most people who buy a car, even a sports car, will mainly drive it on the road, so stock suspension has different goals to achieve than the aftermarket ones. In particular, the club racers are very track oriented and align with my goals for the Supra, so this was a really easy choice for me. Here's a little behind the scenes for the install. As always, I'd like to thank my friends at AutoTune for always taking care of Scarlett and I here. I feel really safe knowing that my car is in really good hands, and I always end up learning something new here, so I am very grateful for that opportunity. So first you can see here that Vic Young and I worked on getting those stock struts out first. And once we got them out, I wanted to compare the two side by side. So here's me debating if the stock struts were actually heavier than the RSR ones, because, you know, I gotta tell you guys like it is. That's the whole honest part of the review, right? And so here I've devised a little test that we'll just name the JDM Jane official part weight comparison test. Okay, yeah, that one's lighter for sure. Oh my god!
There you go.
Ah! So in Young's words,
RSR is way lighter.
and now we get to slip these shiny brand new coilovers into the car. And we're gonna tighten those nuts on top, just finger tight first. They let me do the side on my own, so I'm undoing the nuts so that the strut drops and I can remove it from the wheel well. And now I'm struggling. And they're laughing at me. But you know, it's not all easy. Someone's gotta do it, and I'm sure as hell not letting the three professionals who know exactly what they're doing do it. In the end, I managed to get out the strut from the wheel well, but getting the strut out of the knuckle on the side was a different struggle all on its own. Here's us working on the rear coils, which were a lot easier to do than the fronts. But while I'm on that note, I have to say that this isn't a particularly easy car mod to put in, nor is it an easy job in general. And although I do try to be active with working on my own car, I would definitely recommend taking your car to a reputable shop that you trust, especially if you don't really work on your own car. Of course, my trusted shop is Auto-Tuned, but there are plenty of other shops out there that can do a great job. Just do your research and ask for recommendations and previous experiences with shops that you have in mind, just to make sure that you get the best possible experience. Back to the coilovers. We started at 10 back from stiff for the adjustments on these coilovers, but when we did get to the track, this felt a little bit spongy to me, so we did adjust them on the fly, as you'll see later. And we're off to alignment. I'm at Monrovia alignment, and I always trust David with my alignment because he is very thorough and also knows that different people are looking for different things in their build, and so he'll align your car based on what you need, whether it be track driving or daily driving. Okay, cool. So we're here at Streets. This is my first track day of like the 21-22 season. I'm expecting it to be very, very hot, so we're not gonna push the car super badly, but we have a bunch of new stuff on car. So let me just do a really quick walk around before we do our registration, check-in, and have our driver's meeting. All right, so brand new wheels. I know they don't look new because I've been driving on them for a week, but they're new, okay? Before I was riding a staggered setup, smaller wheel and tire in the front, and bigger ones in the back. Now everything's squared up. So I'm running 295 80OARs. So special thanks to RSR. I'm going to try out their coilovers today. I was on springs before, so we'll see how like a performance suspension package will do on the car. I have probably voiced many times that I don't really like the Supra stock suspension, and I wasn't super keen on having it on springs either, but now we are on coilovers that are made for the track. We will see how that drives today. So I also got this brand new Sabon hood, which looks awesome on the car. It's a really great statement piece. It just looks so amazing, and I really have to thank MCS Performance for helping me out and getting it painted in a timely manner, as well as making it just look really gorgeous. So we started at 10 back from stiff, like I said earlier, and that was too spongy for me, but I didn't realize that until we were already at the track. Usually this would pose a problem, but since these coilovers are really easy to adjust, all we had to do was jack up the car and then adjust the dials from the front and the back, which are really, really easy to get to. Shout out to Justin and Mo for literally always helping me out with my cars. Here they're just in the engine bay adjusting the stiffness of the coilovers with the dials, and we also raise the ones in the back and adjust the stiffness there as well. So it took basically a whole track day of trial and error to kind of figure out where the car was too stiff versus where it was too spongy. So I was aiming for a number around 0 and 10. Obviously 0 back from stiff is a little too stiff, but 10 back from stiff is way too spongy, and so I decided to set it back around 7 back from stiff, which is a little rough for daily driving for most people, but I feel like it'd be good for a prepared surface in most tracks. I personally keep it like this for daily driving as well, and although my passengers hate it, I kind of like it, so you know, it's all in the eye of the driver. So here's a couple laid back laps I was able to film while we were out there having a little fun, chasing some friends around, and I'll tag everybody as well as their cars in the description below. I also posted a story asking you guys what you wanted to know about my experience with the coilovers so far, and this is what you asked. Differences between the RSR Club Racers and the RSR Best Eye Active coilovers. So I actually have the Club Racers, and Steven has the Best Eye Actives for his Type R. The best eyes for Steven's car are adjustable and also retain the drive modes like Comfort, Sport, and R mode for the Type R, and that's great for daily driving while still being equipped to handle much of the spirited driving we do. The Club Racers that I actually have on mine are performance rated and have that as the main principle, without retaining the active modes. Why isn't the Supra bagged? I probably get this question at least once a week, and so I guess I'll clear it up for you guys right now. I'm pretty sure most people are just ill-informed on one or more things. First, you may not know, but my car is a track-oriented build, which requires mods that maintain a level of performance. Most of the modifications that I do to the Supra either don't hinder the performance as is, or actually help the car to perform better. That being said, if you still think I need bags, let me explain further. Bags are notorious for being terrible for the track. Air suspension is mainly for looks, letting you achieve a lower build with a comfortable ride. However, there are a lot of drawbacks, especially for a track-oriented car. For example, an air suspension kit would actually increase the weight of a car, thus making it a terrible track mod because, weight reduction. Along with the additional weight, it brings a potential hazard of puncture damage, as tracks often have debris that cannot be avoided. The last thing you want on a track day is a suspension malfunction. Since a coilover doesn't have a bag or air suspension system, we don't really have that problem there. All in all, bags are a really great way to modify your car if you're doing any type of daily, street, or show car build, but for my build, it doesn't really serve any good purpose, so I'm not bagging the Supra. Did you choose the coilovers for track or daily driving? So almost every mod on my car I choose for its performance value, so I did choose these for track driving. These are much more aggressive than the best eye actives, so I would recommend getting these to really any enthusiastic track driver that's looking for a change up in their suspension. If you're more of a weekender or somebody who still wants to retain their active modes of dampening in their car, I would really recommend the best eye actives because they're also really great. Is this car going to be an all-out time attack race car build, or is it going to be more moderate build? I have really high hopes for myself as well as Scarlett, and I hope that you guys will be able to see us on that competitive stage in the near future. Did you get to test the coilovers at the canyons? The stock suspension feels bumpy at Angeles Crest Highway in my opinion. So I actually go up to the canyons quite a bit, and for me I felt like the stock suspension was actually very comfortable and borderline floaty in a way at Angeles Crest. So I took the car up just this last week to test it out for the video. The car is actually handling really great for me right now at Angeles Crest with the coils. There's just enough road feel for me at the current adjustment, and I find that there's a lot less travel as well. I'm used to track driving, so I do like a little bit more of a stiffer ride, so everybody might not have the same opinion as me. How's the ride on the street? Well, the way my car is set up right now with the stiffness, the street ride is probably too rough for most people, but the great part is that it's completely adjustable and fairly simple and easy to adjust on the fly. As you saw earlier, I was able to adjust them right at the track within minutes. What rate do you have your coilovers at? So from the factory, they are 14 in the front and 18 in the back, and as for the stiffness, I currently have them set at 7 back from stiff, which is perfect for me. Again, thank you to RSR for making this video possible and also supplying us with some really awesome coilovers. Thank you to AutoTune for doing both installs on the Type R and the Supra, and thank you to all the friends that are featured in this video. Without you, building cars just wouldn't be as fun. I'm really excited to see where this build goes, and I hope you guys tune in next time for more updates. Leave me a comment on what you guys want to see me do with the Supra next, or what you guys want to see us do in the next video. To RSR for Steven's just how's your Chinese takeout, buddy?